You're listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to moving to another country, brought to you by SDC International Shipping, LA's finest. An international move is exciting. It's a time to start over, establish a new business maybe, reestablish family ties, or retire where your budget will do more for you. Please enjoy today's episode, and if you have any questions about your international move, give us a call at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962. Hey everybody, welcome back. You're listening to the International Moving Podcast. My name is Jim. This is the Monday, the long form edition, where we deep dive into everything you need to know about relocating across the borders, if you will, overseas to another continent. Today we're going to explore a hot topic, and I'm talking about moving to the UK in 2025. There's people out there dreaming about walking the historic streets of England, taking in the breathtaking landscapes of Scotland or the coastlines of Wales, not to mention the vibrant cities and landscapes of Ireland. The UK is an amazing place, especially if you've never been there before. America is an amazing place too, but of course, when you've grown up here, a lot of things are old hat to you. You take a lot of things for granted because you see them each and every day. But today we want to discuss the benefits of relocating to each country within the UK and why people are choosing that as their next home, and how SDC International Shipping can help make your move smoother than ever. Now, this is the Monday edition. Of course, if you enjoy this podcast, we have shorter episodes that Laura Lee releases, and they come out Tuesday through Saturday. So if you haven't checked those out yet, I just invite you to do so. But let's get back to this topic of moving to the UK in 2025. It remains a super popular destination. And for people worldwide, not just from the United States, sometimes people are looking for that cultural heritage. Maybe like in my family, we have people that are from the UK. They can trace their heritage back. As a matter of fact, there's still family members there today. And in 2025, moving to the UK is going to be even more attractive, of course, because we're talking about a post-pandemic boost that's happening right now in remote work opportunities, updated immigration policies, and improved visa pathways. All those things combine to make more and more people from the U.S. considering going to the U.K. for reasons such as work, education, retirement. Some people are just going for a fresh start. And other times, there's quite a few people actually living here who are from there and are going back again. So we have every different scenario under the sun. If you're contemplating this kind of a move, of course, you're not going to be alone. Again, I said this is a very popular move. And when you look at the different countries within the UK, you can see that each country offers something a little bit unique. So let's take a look at some of those things and look into why maybe it might be a good fit for you sometime in the not too distant future. Now, when we look at England, let's begin with England. England is a true melting pot of tradition as well as innovation, with cities like London and Manchester and Birmingham. England is a top choice for professionals, for students. Of course, we can talk about the big city of London, which is a global financial hub like a New York is here in the United States. In London, there's career opportunities in areas like finance, tech, media, and more. Meanwhile, Manchester is known for having a vibrant art scene, an affordable lifestyle, especially when you compare it with London. And for those moving with families, England's educational institutions, whether we're talking about primary schools, secondary schools, or the university level, are some of the best in the world. So England's appeal is also boosted by its strong healthcare system, with NHS services available also to expats. So some people say that England's charm is in its blend of being modern along with that historical undercurrent that goes with it. So if you're looking for maybe a fast-paced lifestyle, you're looking to further your career, England itself has something to offer. Now, SDC can help you relocate to any city in England, whether you're moving an entire household or bringing along a vehicle, from organizing the sea and air freight to assisting with the customs paperwork, we have you covered. We're very familiar with it and we'll help you each and every step of the way. Next, we can look at Scotland. Scotland in 2025 is still going to be considered the scenic cultural gem that it is because it's been a favorite among expats for years now. It's known for stunning landscapes, its rich history, and very friendly communities. Edinburgh and Glasgow are the top cities for international movers, with Edinburgh known for having a strong education sector. Job opportunities are available there in finance and tourism, while Glasgow has become a hub for tech and creative industries. I think you're going to notice that when we talk about a lot of these locations and in the weeks and months to come, Lord willing, in this podcast, you're going to notice that there are certain professional sectors that are basically attracting people from all over in every country. In other words, things like healthcare, tech, finance, these are some of the hotter areas. And, we can't just make a blanket statement. We're making a general statement, I guess, in a way here, depending on where you fit into that sector. It's kind of like the tech sector. There are certain parts of it that are very hot, and there's parts of it that are not. But yet the parts that are hot, people are flocking into those areas. AI happens to be one of them. I know sometimes when you talk about AI, you're thinking about a computer replacing a person. And although that does and has happened, there are still people managing the AI, overseeing it, and using it to extend their own capabilities far and beyond what they were capable of doing without it. So just like when we talked about England, SDC can assist you with everything you need, from moving your household goods, things like even unique items, artwork, expensive musical instruments like grand pianos, to Scotland. And we're used to doing that. We have people specially trained for those to pack and move those type of items, and we'll help you with it, again, from start to finish. Wales, known for its coastal charm and community spirit. Let's talk a little bit about that. Now, people say if you're looking for a quieter life with a strong community spirit, Wales might just be the place. It's known for beautiful coastlines, national parks, and a relaxed pace. Wales is ideal for retirees, families, anyone seeking a slower lifestyle. Cardiff, the capital, is a dynamic city, and it has a mix of traditional Welsh culture along with the modern amenities, while there's coastal towns like Swansea that offer affordable housing along with scenic ocean views. And for anyone who wants to move to Wales, SDC can handle the logistics like transporting large items, offering storage solutions for seasonal belongings, temporary storage solutions if you need them. And this kind of thing is ideal if you're planning on maybe dividing your time between the US and Wales. A lot of people spend X number of months in one country and then they come home and spend X number of months there. And so even things like car shipping, we can arrange for that. So again, Wales, known for its charming coasts and community spirit. I'm looking at Wales and I was thinking about a few of the Italian people that I know that are there. And just a little side topic here. So my family immigrated from Italy way back when. My grandfather was born on the boat over, and he had a dual citizenship. And then I discovered that there were a lot of Italians that moved to Argentina back in the day. And then I discovered that there was also quite a few Italians that seemed to migrate over to the UK and ended up in Wales and Ireland. And I thought to myself, what was it about Italy that had people leaving en masse over the last few centuries? I know Italy is a beautiful place. I've seen pictures of it. I have an album with photos from Italy. When they used to have those, the photograph actually looked like a piece of cardboard with a picture on it. And they're old and they're faded, and they're different towns where my family came from before they immigrated over here. So I had both sides of the family immigrate over here to the United States, again, way back when. One in the early 1900s and the other in the late 1890s, I believe it was. But anyway, I'm just amazed how Italians wound up all over the map, so to speak. And then today, I mean, Italy is a nice place. I guess it just has never been the kind of place where the average person can really do well and make a fortune. Let's put it that way. They often left for the United States and other places to do that. And then we can talk about Ireland. Northern Ireland, Belfast is the capital. It's gained a reputation as a great place to live and work. It has a growing tech sector there, vibrant arts community, friendly locals. Northern Ireland is excellent if you're a young professional with a family. And not to mention the countryside is just packed with very beautiful scenic views that arguably can rival any type of view in the world. From the Giant's Causeway to the Mourne Mountains, Northern Ireland's housing market is also relatively affordable, which appeals to expats seeking the balance of the city life and the country life. SDC, of course, offers door-to-door shipping, ensuring that your belongings will arrive there, even to the more rural areas, so you don't have to worry about anything. And then, there's the rest of Ireland. I know people that live there, not in Northern Ireland, but the regular Ireland. And they say life is really nice there also. They've sent me photographs of what the neighborhoods look like. The houses kind of look alike, but then, who am I to point fingers? When I look here where I live today in some of the more modern neighborhoods here in the U.S., the houses, like every neighborhood has like 3 models, the newer houses, and everything looks alike when they build these subdivisions. But anyway, it's a beautiful historic place. And it's just interesting. It really is interesting. You get to know the people there. They're very friendly. And it's the closest place, I guess, if you're going to move to a place like Canada, everybody's speaking English. And of course, there you don't have to worry about learning another language. And I know people speak English all across the world now, but it's nice to be in a country, especially if English is the only language you speak, to be in a country where English is the native language. So, just a thought. All right, so how does SDC International Shipping help you making this kind of a move? So, what SDC does is, SDC is known for working closely with each and every client to ensure that everything is taken care of, every item is packed, every item is documented according to what the UK Customs requires. And so the team will handle everything from packing and unpacking so you can focus on other things like getting started with your life. Custom crating is available for huge items. Again, I mentioned grand pianos, even that. And some people, again, say that the customs forms are so complex today, they're very confusing. And the nice thing about working with a company that makes this move every week, just about, is that you're working with people who these customs forms are second nature to them. So you don't have to worry about that. There's tailored insurance options. And that means from total loss to all risk, for peace of mind, everything in between. If you only wanted to insure a handful of items, you can do that. In other words, you don't have to buy more insurance coverage than you need. You don't have to overspend. You can insure what's important to you, and you don't have to, again, overspend when it comes to insurance. SDC has an all-risk option that covers from door to door, and that will ensure that any loss or damage is covered so that you can rest easily knowing that all your items are fully protected. So insurance is one of those things where you really need to, when you're getting involved in the process and you have your initial questions and you're talking to an SDC representative, just go ahead and ask. Let them know that you have a special item or some antiques that you're concerned about, and ask them what insurance options are available to make sure those things have the type of coverage they need, and you'll be all set with that. Some of the things that you want to be considering when you move to the UK, or if you're planning to move to the UK in the upcoming year, first be aware, again, of customs requirements. Now, as you go through the whole packing process with SDC, of course, they'll know exactly what it is that is, going and what isn't going and what can't be transported. But it actually helps to just do a quick search online. Just go online and search for UK customs, what's allowed in the UK and what isn't. And then you can get into some of the specific regulations that might be of interest to you. It's interesting because every country is a little bit different, but most countries won't allow things like firearms or food products or explosives of any kind, fireworks. If you had, let's say, a dozen pairs of the same shirt, something like you would sell online, or if you were starting a new business, that's not considered a normal household goods. That would come under a different category. In other words, just be aware of how it works. And that way, when it comes time to do it, you're not going to be in for any shocks. And there's certain things that, again, just aren't worth bringing over there. Now, I know one of the things that I talk about a lot on this podcast when we talk about customs is China is a great example of it. They don't allow for ivory to be brought over in any shape or form. And it used to be so that if you had a piano with ivory keys, that would not be permitted unless you had the ivory keys removed and it replaced by another type of key. And then there were ways around it. But it's just one of those things that if you wait for the last minute and you're assuming, for example, let's say you have a spice collection of all different spices and you want to pack them and bring them over rather than buy them all again. A lot of those items are not allowed to be shipped long distance. They're not allowed. They'll never clear customs. So it's just good to be aware of that. Some of the things, if you just use your own logic and assume that, oh, it would make sense why I shouldn't bring anything like a firework, but closed jars of spices, that doesn't seem to make any sense. Well, they don't think that way. Other countries, like in the Middle East, certain religious objects are prohibited. Pornography of any kind is prohibited in just about every country. And the list goes on and on. The other thing is cost implications. Relocating to a place like London, for example, may involve higher moving costs than Cardiff due to different logistical requirements. And so what's nice is when you're working with an experienced international moving company like SDC International Shipping, we'll provide a transparent quote system so you'll have an accurate estimate of all the moving costs. No surprises, no got yous at the end. And lastly, this is of course part of the move too. Think about how you'll adapt to life in the UK. Now, there are new tax regulations that are in place. We're entering a new year, so they may yet change again. So you might want to talk to an accountant about that. If you're moving for professional reasons, you may have access to those individuals through your company, accountants, lawyers, and so forth. Also, you want to be aware of healthcare requirements and other cultural aspects, things like that you really need to keep in mind. I know sometimes people have told me that they've moved to other countries. They never consulted any tax professionals or anything like that. They made a few assumptions or they read something online and they were there a few years and they were going back and forth and suddenly they get a letter from the IRS about a tax liability and they didn't realize that they still had to pay taxes even though they weren't here in the U.S. for that time. Or they sold a house or something like that happened and they were going by the old laws and not the most current up-to-date laws. That's one of the things about online that if you're not familiar with the topic and you're just looking something up, unless you know how old that page is or that blog post is or the last time it was updated, you may be getting outdated information because when we're talking about customs and we're talking about legalities, just recognize that those things can change from year to year, from one administration to another administration. Those things are never static. And so it's always good, especially when we're talking about something that can affect your bottom line. Can you imagine finding out 2 or 3 years after a move that you have this huge tax liability because of all the penalties added to it that you didn't even know about? And then, of course, you're going to have to probably contact a CPA or a lawyer or people who are CPA/attorneys with international experience to help you navigate that situation. That just creates a headache and a hassle. So it's just better to talk to these people up front as part of your move and just understand what's required of you and what's not required of you. Expat groups are good, but how many of you know that sometimes the group information isn't the best information? And hey, sometimes group information is good. sometimes it isn't. But when it comes to your finances, I think that's where you're better off leaving that to the experts when it comes to advice, what to do and what not to do when it comes to your money. So, and when it comes to the international move itself, again, SDC International Shipping is an expert in this area. You'll have a dedicated coordinator working with you, somebody who navigates this kind of move on a regular basis, so you don't have to worry about the complexities and all of the other things that go with the logistics of moving internationally, and you can focus on adapting and enjoying your new environment instead. So I think that'll do it for today's episode. So whether you're looking to move to a place like a London, or you're looking for the Scottish Highlands or the coasts of Wales, or even Ireland, northern or otherwise, SDC is here to help ensure that your journey is a smooth, safe, and stress-free endeavor. So thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. If you listen to this podcast on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, you can subscribe and each new episode will appear as soon as it's been uploaded. Leave a review for us. We'd really like that if you could do that. If you enjoy this episode, let others know. And our website is available, sdcinternationalshipping.com. That's www.sdcinternationalshipping.com. Loads of information there. Get your free estimate. Call our toll-free number if you'd rather do that, 877-339-0267, or you can even chat with us at the website if you prefer that. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in my next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for listening. Whether you're relocating within the country or moving to the other side of the world, we're here to help from start to finish. Connect with us today at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962.